This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook live show. We got a Monday slate here, just 4 games over on DraftKings. We had some day basketball. If you followed our Discord, maybe you got some best bets in, maybe you got some plays in, won some money. We got a playbook out for the 4-game slate, courtesy of Grande here. How we doing, man?
Good. Other than the fact that my whole household is sick,
Yeah.
we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, fun. We watch a lot of baseball.
Yes.
And day baseball is a lot of fun.
Yes.
That day basketball is also a lot of fun.
We like sports.
Yeah, I think I encourage more daytime basketball. It's been 2 days in a row since the Magic and the Grizzlies had their game in London and their like European 2-game set that they played. And now we have the MLK Day slate, which is all day. I encourage the NBA. Hey, just give us a Tuesday 3 p.m. game. Give us a Wednesday noon tip,
Sure.
Maybe some athletes want to be home with their families for dinner. Just saying,
if you like day basketball, the WNBA, you're only a few months out. Assuming they don't lock out.
Do they play in the middle of the day?
Yeah, they have like 2:30 Tuesday games.
Do they really?
That's the WNBA. One of the reasons you and I like our e-gaming so much is because it's like early in the morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m.
It's all in Europe. It's all in Europe or Asia, right? So it's like all done by the time we wake up and
crushing some CS sometimes, But we had some day basketball today. Fun to watch, fun to bet on. We hit 2 of our 3 early plays today with Zubac and Keyshawn George going over their props. Missed out on the Ryan Rollins play. We got a couple of plays for tonight over in the best bets bet tracker and the underdog prize picks and sleeper plays for you guys. So make sure you check those out along with Grande's Playbook. If you're not yet a member of the Fantasy Alarm family, you see the QR code up on the screen. You see the scroll down at the bottom. You can save 50% off that first month. $19.99 for that first month. FantasyAlarm.com/YouTube. Promo code YT50 at checkout. Our guy Jeff in the chat saying good evening. Cujo always popping in, leaving us a comment, says good evening as well. And Spin the Block 2 says much love, brother. Much love to you guys as well. All right. To the slate we go. Cade 10-3, Jaylen Brown 10-1 are your top 2 price players. Cade at 10-3, Maxey at 99, and Steph Curry at 91. $100 here. Before we break it down, though, quick check. Got to keep the streak alive. Injury report.
Keep the streak alive.
One thing to note on this injury report, however, is that as we were going live, Draymond Green downgraded to questionable, not probable, questionable. So got to go put him on the yellow side of the graphic.
You're doing this. You're doing this to be like, Grande called me out, and now I have to do it
every day. Honestly, it adds flair to the show. Everybody likes to visualize the injuries.
It does. And shout out to you, John. I don't know. Nobody commented on it, and I know that you put a lot of hard work into our new avatar or our new graphic, our cover image for both the previous show and the live show. You upgraded it. It definitely makes it pop. It definitely makes it purrs. It definitely makes it hum. So salute to you.
Right.
That was good stuff. It was really good.
I thought it was sharp looking.
It is. It looks really good.
So we have the look at that. Look at it. It's so nice.
Yeah, it looks sharp.
Anyways, so yeah, we're adding some new graphics, some new year, new me, new us. So
getting to the gym a lot,
pumping iron. Anyways, as you can see, the entire Brooklyn Nets team is basically out for tonight. Thomas, Damon, Sharp, all out for tonight. You get Drake Powell, Michael Porter Jr. back, Zaire Williams back. The big ones, obviously, on the screen are actually questionable for today. Embiid and George did not go through shoot around. You got Booker and Jalen Green questionable as well for Phoenix. So obviously major impacts for Phoenix and Philadelphia if those 4 players do not suit up tonight?
Yes. Major implications. Obviously, the Jalen Green thing is kind of new because we've only seen him for a game and a half or a game in like not even a quarter. Not as big an impact as Booker, but both of those guys matter quite a bit to Phoenix. It's very hard to talk about Phoenix without that.
I mean, 2 huge players.
Yeah, I mean, expected to be their best 2 players coming into the year. And obviously Embiid and George, if they both sit or one of them sit, Embiid, it changes the whole dynamic of how we view Philadelphia. So yeah, it's a very interesting slate with, the Brooklyn stuff was expected on some fronts. Like I had projected last night, Yegor and Cam Thomas to both because they've been sitting on back-to-backs. The Daron Sharp one was new. That is an illness, so it's not like it's, something that has been happening. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Tyler Hero, they just found like they did X-rays and they like basically TBD on when he's going to return. So we're going to get a really good sneak peek into what Miami's, back to what it was kind of without Hero for most of the year. So
yeah, Jaime Jaquez was a GOAT to begin.
And Jaime Jaquez was a GOAT, and his price is not indicative of GOAT status. So we'll talk about all that. It's a fun little 4-gamer that we have. And look at our old friend Richard, who would always pop in during the basketball or during the baseball chat, still doing the same. The Miami game is going to decide the slate. This is exactly what Richard did, John. It's almost like how you do with your friends, your group chat that you talk about, how you like drop in and then you just
throw a grenade and just leave.
Yeah. Richard's a big drop in. Just here's my 2 cents. And then I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah. Obviously, we look at point guard here. You have Cade at 10-3 gets Boston, but Maxey at $9,900. So if there ends up being no Embiid and no Paul George, we already play Maxey at this price anyways.
Yeah.
Like we willingly, even with Embiid and George on the floor, we're good to go. You rule those 2 guys out and we're back to, early season Maxey when there was none of those players and he's playing the 40 minutes that he plays anyways, but his usage rate's jacked up like another 4 or 5%. Right. So
yeah, I think the Philly stuff is the most fascinating part of the slate, John, because Tyrese Maxey's not getting a lot of ownership today. I kind of want Embiid and Paul George to play, right? Because if both those players sit or Embiid sits, that's going to juice Maxey's ownership, right? Like he is going to be the highest rostered player of the day. And like, we don't need players out for Tyrese Maxey because he's going to play 40 minutes. He's going to have a 30% usage. He is going to flirt with 50 fantasy points. And then if he's on, there's 60, 70 in the bag. So I kind of want them to play. Like I would just prefer it that way. I'd feel more comfortable with it that way. So that's how I'm kind of viewing it. He's the contrarian option of these 3 between Cade and Curry. Cade started the day with not a lot of ownership, but he's Cade Cunningham, and naturally his ownership just floats throughout the day, right? Like it just kind of is what it is. So I love Cade if you want to get there. This is obviously the best game on the board. The 1 and the 2 seed in the East. This is going to be like a playoff type game, right?
Sure.
This is like literally the halfway point of the season for.
Tatum was dunking teams today during the shoot around.
Tatum was dunking. He's doing reverse. There's a lot to like about this game from just a pure basketball standpoint. So I have absolutely no issue getting to Cade. And then Steph has a really big ceiling here in the pace up spot. Obviously, like we saw, the Colin Sexton thing where he's like following him to the locker room, basically how Charlotte guarded him. And, we've seen teams do that throughout the history. It's not like that's new, but Miami has someone that would do that in Davion Mitchell. So, I think Curry is very interesting. No DeAnthony Melton, now possibly no Draymond. There's also no, I think, Guy Santos. We talked about the pace of spot. We know Curry's what he's doing, like from a fantasy point perspective nightly. Should he be starting the All-Star game over Anthony Edwards? No, but 32% usage, 1.3 fantasy points per minute without the Anthony Melton. And I included Jonathan Kuminga because we just know he's not going to play. So, and he's a high usage player. So 1.3 fantasy points per minute, 32% usage for Steph. So, yeah, I think there's no wrong answer of the top three. Maxey right now is the contrarian option, possibly in like the best matchup of the three.
Sure. Too. Yeah, I agree. You work your way down again. It is officially Paul George out. We're probably about to get the Joel Embiid as well here momentarily, I would imagine.
Let's see if we got. That's brutal.
But yeah, it is coming down. So at the very least, no George again. I imagine we're going to be about to get the Embiid news as well as we're on point guard here.
We'll see because that no one's reported it. So I'm assuming that's just an injury report thing.
Okay.
That they just released the injury report. I don't have the. It always I don't know if it's just me, but NBA.com's injury report always takes me like 2 or 3 minutes after
to load.
Yeah, to like actually get the I still see the 5 p.m., not the 5:15.
Okay.
So I'm just assuming that's what kind of is happening here.
Well, at the very least, only Paul George has been reported now. Obviously, if Embiid gets ruled out, and we'll continue to monitor that. But with it only being 4 games, the positions do run out on you quick. And we did talk about this last night from a value perspective. Where is he? There we go. Without Damon, Nolan, Traore, right? Just probably going to be the guy. Are you surprised that the ownership on him isn't like higher than it is?
I don't think anyone has any idea what to do tonight.
Okay. I mean, he is. I say that as he is still the top rostered point guard, but only 30% for a $3,400 guard that has played 26 and 28 minutes, and the starting point guard's not playing, and the backup 2 guard who has a ton of usage isn't playing. You feel like this should have been like a 50% ownership on a 4-game slate.
I agree. I just think there's 15 players projected 20% rostership, right?
Yeah.
That just tells me no one really is confident with anything. Because typically on a smaller slate, we'd see a 50% rostered player. Like you said, it would be Nolan Traore. I also, he has played a lot recently. Mm-hmm. He hasn't necessarily, and that's recent. Like the last time Yegor missed, they started Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
But Traore hadn't been playing as much as he has lately. So,
and Powell is back to your own point too. So, I mean,
yeah, Powell. So the 5th starter is TBD. I think Porter, Claxton, Clowney, Powell is basically guaranteed. And then the 5th starter could be either Terrence Mann or Traore.
Yeah.
My guess would be if we got the Traore news early enough, his ownership would triple.
Sure.
Because he's the only value under 4K that you can definitively look at and be like, all right, he'll play possibly 30 minutes tonight, right? So I do think we'll see. We'll see who the 5th starter is. Yeah. And Splash God says Zaire is going to start. I don't know. I guess you could make a case Zaire starts over Powell. But I think Drake Powell is going to start. Yeah. Just based on it's the youth movement there. So
sure. And obviously, if there's no Booker or Green, like Gillespie at 61 is super interesting. Nembhard's getting 24% ownership. You talked about Davion down here at $4,700. You can always throw a dart at TJ McConnell. How do you kind of figure out the rest of this point guard position?
Yeah, I mean, I like Nembhard. I think he's very safe. 23% usage, 1.08 fantasy points per minute without Benedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin this year. He's put up 38 plus fantasy points in 7 of his last 8, and has now dropped below 7K, which is a fascinating thing because he's scoring so many fantasy points, and yet his price is falling. So I think Nembhard is very safe. I'm definitely good with Davion. I think the role is going to be really safe. Back to high 20s, low 30s minutes. He is first on the team in assist percentage, 30.8 assist percentage. He's a 0.87 fantasy point per minute without Tyler, 0.87 fantasy point per minute player without Tyler Hero. So I think very safe play. We've said that all year without Tyler Hero, right? Like we talk about Davion, like just kind of safe. I like Pajemski a little bit at 5K. I like Pajemski a lot of bit if Draymond's out too, because Pajemski can do a lot of what Draymond does, like secondary ball handler, creator, good, very good offensive rebounder for a guard. So I like Pajemski at 5K, especially without Melton out. Anthony had just talked about Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
So I personally, I don't think he starts. I think it would probably be Oubre. Doesn't mean I don't think Quentin Grimes is going to play a lot. I still think Quentin Grimes is going to play a boatload of minutes, but I do think Oubre ends up starting. We know, like, Philly is basically, as long as Embiid plays, like we know Maxey, Embiid, Edgecombe, Oubre, Barlow, and then Barlow gets squeezed and Grimes plays the majority of the minutes. But like now Grimes is going to float between all the forward spots, with small ball, with Oubre. He's going to play some small forward. He's going to play some off ball. He's going to probably play on the ball too, especially with Jared McCain in the G League. So, or they can recall them today. Actually, I saw that. So he's back, but like the minutes have been non-existent to begin with. So yeah, I think Grimes is fine. Not like a priority, but I do think you can definitely get to him much more comfortably than you did before.
Okay. Anybody else at point guard?
Anyone else at point guard? I mean, the Triori at 34. That's it.
Going on over then to shooting guard again. A lot of these guys have dual positional eligibility. Some key names we're not 100% sure on, but Norm Powell is the guy that's getting the ownership. Would you pivot to Edgecombe here? I mean, Edgecomb's getting a quarter of the ownership that Powell's getting right
now. I would if there's no Embiid. I mean, like Paul George's ownership has really plummeted to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's tough for me. Like he has one of those superpowers where he plays a lot of minutes. So if you want to play him,
and like we've gotten like from a comparing Norm to Edgecombe, right? Like we know Norm's going to score, but we don't always know if he's going to give you anything other than scoring.
Right.
We've seen some huge ceiling games out of Edgecombe because not only will he score, but he'll give you 4 steals, rebounds, some assists here. So just a thought, if there is no George and no Embiid today and ownership's going to stay 30% Norm, 10% Edgecombe on a 4-game slate, why not take a chance on some leverage there?
Yeah, I don't hate the thought. I just don't think like he's just not really a high usage player.
I think it's 23% without George and Embiid on the floor.
It's 20. Here's the thing. The ownership is not going to be where it is if Embiid is ruled out.
Sure. Well, that's what I'm saying. I said if it stays where it's at, you're getting 30% to 10% in that, give or take a few percentage points on Powell to Edgecombe. Not make sense maybe just for a leverage play today at the price because they're a $200 difference.
I would probably still lean Norm because I think that game is better. Like 240 implied points in the Miami Golden State game, 238.5.
Yeah.
I get your point though. It's like it's a good tournament for sure. Good tournament strategy. I just prefer kind of getting to Norm today. And
And no, Norm was the cover of the preview show, so we're all team Norm anyways. Kez is also number 2 in ownership at this position. He has dual positional eligibility, same as Norm Powell. So people just kind of jumping in and shoving in Miami here for obvious reasons. Anthony wants our thoughts on the Boston guards, including Simons tonight. And then we also had a question on Bouye if there's no Booker and Green, I guess. Usually that's where we just play Jordan Goodwin. But what are your thoughts, I guess, on these other alt guards here?
Yeah, so I would probably Bouye has been pretty good when extended. I would prefer Goodwin, and Goodwin's ownership would be through the roof. Man, point guard only hurts him because you could play Gillespie and Goodwin both guard spots, and then you play Grayson Allen, shooting guard, small forward. So Bouye would probably be like the 4th priority for me in terms of Phoenix stuff. And then Anthony with the Boston question, I just don't know, now that Peyton Pritchard's available, I don't know what, like Simons basically is going to play mid-20s minutes, right? That's basically been the role, like mid to high 20s if he's really cooking.
And you're paying maximum price right now.
Max price. And like, obviously, he isn't a bench player.
No.
He is a bench player on the Celtics because they have 3 guard wings that they prioritize, right?
Yeah.
So I get like the thought, just kind of riding a hot hand. But you need Simons to get you at 5,500, like 30 fantasy points tonight, right? To basically win a tournament.
7.5, yeah.
Well, to have a chance at winning a tournament, he probably needs to get you 30.
Yeah, 6x.
And I'm not saying he can't. Obviously, he's done it. But with Pritchard being available, it just caps his ceiling. Obviously, it just caps the ceiling. So I would be, if I'm entering multiple lineups, it's fine. If I'm playing one lineup, there's one Boston player that I think I'm getting to today because the matchup just isn't appealing. Like you can make a case for Derek White, you can make a case for Peyton Pritchard, and we just talked Simons. I don't know. I think there's one Boston guy that's interesting because he's low owned and he's better than everyone else. So I'm not really messing around with the peripheral Boston stuff tonight, but you can always play one of the other guards in the tournament because they all have a ceiling. But perfect trend.
You have Larson and you have Oubre here as well, obviously, without Paul George. But Pelly Larson's been someone that has played the minutes, played productive minutes when given opportunities to do so for the most part. He's $4,600. Then you have Oubre, who did get over 30 minutes the other day, a couple of times here. The numbers haven't been great, but now you take 2 high usage rate players off the floor, and at $4,900, if you tell me he's going to play 30 minutes tonight, like that's also very appealing.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to play 30. Like him and Grimes both get 30 or above. I definitely prefer Oubre and like Grimes with no Embiid. I know I keep beating a dead horse, but like it just is kind of true. You're not like taking Paul George off the floor is fine. There's minutes to be had. There's like stuff to be had there. Taking Embiid or Maxey off the floor are a complete different beast, right? Like there's 2 30% usage players still on the floor with Embiid and Maxey. So definitely okay getting to Grimes or Oubre. I think Pelle Larsson does look good-ish. He looks better on FanDuel. He's like 4,100 over there.
Yeah.
The Drake Powell is here at 3,900. I think you can get to Drake Powell. I forget
the Nets question here from Steve.
Yeah, I actually meant to mention the Tyrese Martin thing. So he's $3,100, point guard only. And I was looking, so Brooklyn has gone like a super extended period of time, John, just playing. They play 10 guys, right? That's basically what they've done. Every night they play 10 players. So I was looking, I think Tyrese Martin would crack the top 10. And basically, if you crack the top 10, you play like 18 minutes as a baseline, 15 minutes as a baseline, right? That's like basically what it's been. They just kind of do the same thing over and over again. It's you also, if you play someone like Tyrese Martin or Zaire Williams, if they're not starting, they're always at risk to DMP. That's also the other side of this coin, right? Like they're always a DMP risk.
Jalen Green out, Devin Booker available to play.
Okay, so we just have the Suns.
We have the regular Suns lineup. Yep.
We have the Suns normally.
Yep. The regular Suns.
So like they're gonna start Gillespie Booker in the backcourt, and Gillespie's gonna cede time to Grayson Allen, especially if Allen, who's taken 13 plus threes in 3 straight games, or double-digit threes in 3 straight games, keeps making them. So Bouyer's gone. He's out of our lives. Goodwin's tougher to get to, but there's obviously he can get in the game and just go nuclear for a short pocket of time. Or if you're predicting blowout, Goodwin profiles well in that scenario. I know we're just kind of spewing a lot of stuff. We'll get back on track here. So Philly, I think, is fine, like the Grimes, Oubre stuff. Larson, I think, is fine at 46. Brooklyn stuff, like Terrence Mann, I prefer him starting at 4,400. Same thing with Drake Powell. They're at 39. You would want him to start. Same thing with Zaire at 37. You'd want him to start, even though I think all these players are in the rotation. Moody at 4K, shooting guard, small forward. I think he looks pretty good. The minutes should be very safe with DeAnthony Melton out. DeAnthony Melton's taken on a massive role for Golden State, so I think Moody is definitely safe. Watch out for like Will Richard to start here potentially if Draymond ultimately gets ruled out and they go Jimmy at the 4. I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility. We saw, Miami plays Andrew Wiggins at the 4, right? So we could see Richard get a spot start, and in that case,
for Butler last time. Is that what
he started for Butler? Started for Butler last time out, 31 minutes, and there's no Melton. I would feel pretty good about Will Richard if he was in the starting lineup. So yeah, I think there's like some interesting stuff down here for sure.
Okay. Small forward, then Jaylen Brown 10-1. You said there'd be one Celtic you'd get to. I assume he's the Celtic you're talking about.
Yeah,
not Luka Garza.
Like, here's the thing. Like, I feel like on small slates, you are always looking for a way to differentiate, right? Like you're always looking for a way to be different. You're always looking for leverage.
Yeah.
This is not a good spot. Detroit is a very good defensive team. They play really slow. Boston plays really slow, but they don't play fast. And JB's over 10K with Peyton Pritchard back. Jaylen Brown also, John, has a 37% usage on the year and is averaging 1.3 minutes or 1.3 fantasy points per minute. And he's sub 10%, which is he's the only player over 9K at sub 10% ownership today. So while I acknowledge that this spot is miserable, and Asar Thompson and possibly Ron Holland if he plays, and insert annoying Detroit defender that you're going to have to deal with for 48 minutes is on the other side. Like, this is how you could win a tournament, by playing alone Jaylen Brown, and he goes for 65 and everyone else plays insert whoever and gets Curry to go for 45. Well, I win with who I just played. So is Jaylen Brown my number one spend up? No, he is not. But I do think there's an elite pivot to a sub 10% Jaylen Brown on a small slate.
Okay. MPJ's back, $8,900 for him against Phoenix. You got Butler at 81, maybe no Draymond now. Then you can obviously play Norm here.
Yeah, always MPJ in tournaments if you want. Not a big priority for me tonight, but you can. I like Butler quite a bit. I just like the pace up spot. I like that this game has almost 240 implied points. I like that Jimmy has seemingly been like, I am Hemi Butler.
Sure.
30 actual in 2 of the last 3. When you're looking at Butler and some of the numbers this year without Melton and Kuminga, 23% usage, 1.2 fantasy points per minute. And like, if you can't get to Curry, like if you don't have the money to get to Steph and you still want some Golden State, because, wanting Golden State in the spot makes a lot of sense. I do think Jimmy is a really solid play. And yeah, Norm is great. Like I like Norm Powell. I like all of Miami. I mean, there again, no Tyler Hero opens the door for a lot here.
Yep. Only Neesmith is the other guy that's up over 20% at this position. Obviously Butler and Powell among that group, Jaquez, but Neesmith, $5,800.
I wrote up Aaron Neesmith today, John, kind of assuming he was not going to get ownership because he has not shot the ball well. That's really what it comes down to. The minutes have been fine. The usage has been fine without no Ben Mathurin. He just hasn't made shots. We hold on to the cash line there, John.
Here we go. Congratulations.
Nice early cash.
Now you spin that one back here for the late slate.
Yeah, Yusuf Nurkic, by the way, I don't know if anyone saw, Yusuf Nurkic did play on the I just want to rile up the chat. I want to rile up the chat. He played the 6 minutes in the first quarter.
I bet him in 3 straight days and he didn't play in any of those games. So it's okay because I didn't lose any money by that.
Right,
but
right.
Also,
you just got your money. You just got your money back.
Yeah, but also like the 11.5 rebounds were looking like really good all 3 days. And you just never got on the floor.
They absolutely were. I just wanted to bring that up and just rile up the chat.
Got a little matchup stat here from our guy Steve. Jaylen Brown, floor 55 fantasy points in all 3 games against Detroit this season.
I mean, like,
this was, by the way, sorry to cut you off. One of these games was that ridiculous, like 60% usage game.
Yeah, and it was like the Cade out of bounds. The Boston like trapped him and he stepped out of bounds, or there was a foul at half court. I forget exactly how it happened, but it was like the afternoon game.
Yeah.
So I definitely like JB in tournaments. Just going down the list, like we didn't really touch on the Jaquez numbers. They are really good. Without Tyler Hero, 22.6% usage, 1.06 fantasy points per minute. So I love Jaquez here. One of my favorite mid-tier plays of the day. Sure. We talked to Oubre.
There's Grayson Allen. I mean, obviously there's
Grayson Allen.
I mean, Booker's here, but no Jalen Green. So
yeah, he's like splitting time with Gillespie, basically, right? Like he splits time with Gillespie and plays small forward too. And he's taking, 13, 20, 14 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And it was like, he came back and said, I have one job to do. That's my job.
Shoot threes. He and Sam Hauser the other day, 23-point attempts.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Grayson is definitely in play. We talked Larson. We talked Mann if he's starting. We talked Moody. He's safe. I don't think there's anything else. Like you can make cases for like if Holland sits, you can make cases for like Javante or Karis LeVert and all that stuff is like disgusting. So I don't know if you like need to do that, but it is. Holland has played a lot lately for what that's worth. Like he's played a lot. So
power forward from an ownership perspective, Clowney and Wiggins are your top 2 guys, around 30%. Pascal Siakam's at under 20%. Butler's around 20%. So not a lot of high ownership necessarily going to the top group, just more so people living in the mid-range here.
Yeah, I mean, I love Pascal. I've loved the role Pascal has had. I've loved the production Pascal has continued to put forth. He is not the reason that Indiana has 10 wins. He is mostly the reason why they've won 4 of their last 5 that he's played in. Obviously, there's one game omitted from here that he didn't play in that we don't ever need to talk about again. But I like Pascal Siakam quite a bit if you want to spend up and be different. I don't have like We talked Butler. We obviously know PG's not playing. I would play Draymond. Obviously, don't love the downgrade. It's an ankle. That's not fun whatsoever that he's dealing with an ankle. And I was trying to look at the games that Draymond like missed. And the unfortunate part is like Pat Spencer and Buddy Hield were playing like big roles in those games. So it's kind of hard to like know who's going to start in Draymond's place. I would guess, or not even start, because we had a question about Horford. I don't know, like who would get extended, I guess, in his if Draymond doesn't play,
Yeah.
and you could definitely make a case for Horford getting extended, but we'll get there in a second. Wiggins at 58, I think looks really good.
Sure.
I think the price has kind of been a little disrespectful to Andrew Wiggins. He's going to play 30 plus minutes. He's going to start. There's no Tyler Hero. Decent usage rate, just under a fantasy point per minute. So I do think, Andrew Wiggins is a very safe play. And you talked Clowney. Another one I think is very safe.
Clowney's the highest rostered power forward, at least for right now. I mean, that may update. Actually, just updated. Danny Wolf is up over 30% now. So, do you just get some news there on him?
What, Danny Wolf?
Yeah, being over 30%.
I think the Day'Ron Sharp. We're just assuming Danny Wolf is going to operate in both backup bigs.
Sure.
Because they have anyone else that is available or would be available, like Liddell is like another forward. He's in the G League. So they don't have anytime Clax is off the floor, I think Danny Wolf is on the floor.
Okay.
I think
Clowney are the top two still. So
yeah, they're both appealing. Clowney is very safe. I think Danny Wolf looks pretty good at 43 as well.
Anthony wants to know on Jay Huff here.
Yeah, I saw that. So my stance earlier the day was like I would be willing to play Jay Huff if his ownership is low, because we had talked about it. Remember last night I was like, let's see if they sign Tony Bradley. They signed Tony Bradley. So now they have Bradley. They have the three-headed monster that we've always wanted. Tony Bradley, Isaiah Jackson, and Jay Huff. Like that's you couldn't ask for a better trio of centers if you tried. So I think knowing that it's definitely scary, right? Like knowing those three centers are all available does not make you feel good using one of them.
Right.
If Jay Huff doesn't play well, Rick Carlisle is the mad scientist. He will just try the other two until he will just continue to play a center until one of them proves that they are like able to do something. So tournaments only. Like I prefer the Nets guys here at power forward. I also like Tobias Harris a little bit, John, like just a safe play. It's not like a priority of mine, but if you're looking for a pivot off Clowney, I don't think he looks a lot different than Noah Clowney. If Ron Holland sits, I think Tobias Harris could tick into like the low 30s for minutes. Yeah. So that would really be no, his minutes have been really inconsistent, and they've been without Jaquez the last couple games, and he hasn't even played. So our sweet prince is fallen by the wayside here.
Anybody else?
No, we can go over to the power forward position.
Center position.
Right. So yes, whatever. What I said center, or I said power forward, I meant center.
Yeah. Embiid's 94. We don't know yet if he's going to play or not. If he's in, we're in, obviously, because we just went over who Philadelphia has at center, or not, or Indiana rather has at center. Bam and Duren, your next two here on the preview show. You like them both. We did have the preview show core build with Duren. Has anything changed for you at the center position today?
Has anything changed? No, I mean, I like both those players. I probably side with Bam. Again, that game is better. Possibly no Draymond now. So, Al Horford, Quentin Post, possibly Trace Jackson Davis minutes against Bam Adebayo sounds really appealing to me. 24% usage, 1.15 fantasy points per minute for Bam. And we've talked about it. Like, his 3-point volume is trending in the right direction. And I don't think it's a coincidence that his fantasy production has followed suit. So,
and way better if there's no Draymond for Bam tonight.
Yeah, so. way better for Bam. So I am in on Bam a little ahead of Jalen Duren, but no objection to either player.
Okay. Bam getting more ownership. He's around 27%. Duren just 15%. So between them, you have Nick Claxton at 25%. There's also he's the cheapest of the three as well at $6,400. Yeah, and a smaller slate. Is there any other centers that kind of jump out to you here?
Yeah, Mark Williams, just because he's very good per minute. I looked. He was averaging 21 minutes per game in December. He's up to over 24 minutes in January so far. Gets a bottom 10 defense. I'm good with Mark Williams, and I think this should be a game where he traditionally is playing a bunch, like high 20s minutes with Claxton on the other side. You could, and I think the only other center I'd even really consider is we don't know what's going to happen with Philly. So if Embiid doesn't play, I think the answer is a Dem Bona. But it's kind of just an absolute nightmare because we don't, like, sometimes they DMP Drummond, sometimes they don't. They've re-entered Trendon Watford into the rotation too. Not for a lot of minutes, but he has been playing a little bit. We know Dominic Barlow is going to start. I mean, he has started like every game for them lately. So I just want Embiid in just to like have to avoid. I don't want to like
just so you can play Embiid and not have to deal with it, or
not have to deal. Not like so much just so I can play Embiid, just so I can avoid having to figure out what Philly's going to do with their center rotation. Because like they could start Drummond and then Bona could play 35 minutes, or they could start Drummond and he could play 35 minutes. Both of those scenarios are on the table, or one of them can start, the other one can play, and then Trendon Watford is closing as like small ball center, right? Like there is like a lot of gross possibilities that comes into play for Philly, and I just kind of want to avoid all of them.
Okay.
I would be okay with punting Luka Garza, but okay is the operative word there. Like, just okay. I don't have like a strong desire to play him.
Sure. All right. Let's then get a lineup build going for the core. Jason said his building block stay are Cade and Jaylen Brown. I mean, sure, top two price players on the slate. That good building blocks. You want to know where we're going for value? Obviously, we did go over some value. We've hit a lot of the nets. Have you kind of rethought anything here on Nolan Traore with everybody back, Martin and Powell, and do we think he gets 25 minutes tonight? Do we feel good with that?
Martin's playing. Martin's been playing.
Right.
William Zaire back.
Zaire.
I mean, I think if he starts, I have a lot of confidence in. Yeah. But so I say that
your confidence of Brooklyn, at least for now, is whoever's in the starting five. You're happy to plug in.
I am confident that they will play 10 players tonight.
Sure.
That is what I am confident in.
And if we saw anything from yesterday, the 4 of the 5 that started the game may not start.
Didn't start the second half. Didn't start the second half. It's totally true. I shouldn't say confident in really any facet when it comes to Brooklyn. I mean, Yegor had been playing a lot of minutes, and then he wasn't playing a lot of minutes, right? Then they benched him, and Traore has played. No, I guess like Traore, I'm confident that Danny Wolf has a good role. I'm confident that Noah Clowney has a good role. As Brooklyn, if I'm definitively telling you something about Brooklyn, those are the two guys that I would be, and obviously Michael Porter Jr., but we're talking value. Who's the best value though? He asked at 4. He said Mooney at 4K. I do not think Moody I do not think Moody is the best value. I think he is a good value because I think Golden State has a lot to offer. Triori's ownership, by the way, fell off an absolute cliff.
That's what I was saying. Like nobody was playing him, so I was like very.
Well, it was 29. Did you mention that because it was like
when I told you when we started the show, I said he was like 11% or something like that.
Oh, I had seen him at 29. I had seen 29%.
No, that's why I was saying. I was like, are you surprised it had updated? I was like, are you surprised that nobody is playing him anymore? He's for a guy that's $3,400. He was getting it's up to 14 now. It was like 11 or 12, I think, at the beginning of the show.
I am, but I think people are just not confident.
Martin's up to 20% now. So since the show started, basically, Martin has leapt Traore here.
Yeah, that's gross. That's gross, but that's just someone punting the position. The best value is probably Danny Wolf if I had to play one because I'm pretty confident in his minutes. I like Will Richard if he starts, but obviously we won't know that. I think Davion is a very safe value. I think a lot of Miami is like not traditional value, but his value is value. Just Curious Shuri, bold print in core plays. Has that changed? That has not changed as of right now. But again, it's a very fluid situation.
Yeah. Roster lock 7 p.m. That game starts at 7:30. If we get the Brooklyn lineup ahead of that, obviously Grande will update the playbook for all of you guys. We throw everything in the Discord. So again, if you're not a member of the Fantasy Center family, which is set up at the start of the show, it's 50% off for that first month. You get our premium Discord access. You get in those channels. A lot of you guys are in there. You know what we talk about all day in those channels. We go over lineups. We break news. We talk strategy for you guys. So we definitely help you all out. You can go to fantasycenter.com/YouTube. Promo code YT50 will save that 50% off the first month there. Let's get a core play build, though, Grande. Who's the number one plug for you? Is it Norm?
Yeah, I like Miami quite a bit.
Okay.
So Jaquez, Norm, Wiggins, any iteration of like those players.
Okay. All right. So Jaquez, we'll do small forward then, I guess. Norm at shooting guard. Do we just do Maxey then at point guard? There's already no George, so
yeah, I liked Steph and Cade a little more, but obviously,
I mean, I listen. We can save the money with Steph. That's fine. You get $5,700 there now.
I just think that game, dude, that game is so good. If we don't have the money to do Steph, like I want Jimmy or something else.
No, I mean we have $5,700. We can get one more play in here, and then we'll obviously help you guys out, build the lineup in the Discord.
Play Triori for now, and then play him at the guard because we can. There's endless opportunity.
You play Martin there for $300 cheaper, so you
can play Martin, or you can just if like Zaire Williams is starting, you could play Zaire Williams at $3,700. There's multiple avenues to go. Terrence Mann is $4,400 if he starts.
Sure. So Curry, Powell, Jaquez, Traore. You want to give me one more here? We usually fill it out. You said you really liked Siakam today.
I do like Siakam. I would probably say Danny Wolf if we're building a core here. Let's play Danny Wolf at forward.
Forward. All right, there we go. Curry, Powell, Jaquez, Traore, Wolf. A little value for Brooklyn. Game stacking the late night hammer with Golden State, Miami. Almost 7K a play remaining. Get the core play in the Discord. If you guys build some lineups, you can throw them in there. We'll help you out today. We'll be back later tonight with the preview show for Tuesday's slate.